Hi everyone, welcome back to our Paper Flourish craft videos. Today I wanted to start a card. It's a Lavinia card, and I wanted to make a series of cards for males. We make so many of our Lavinia cards with the beautiful fairies and foliage and flowers for females, but I know myself, I give as many cards to males as I do to females. So I thought I'm going to start a series of cards for males. There are so many Lavinia stamps which can be used to make male cards, whether it's for children, teenagers, older males. It will suit everybody. These cards could also be used for females, so it could be either way, but so there's so many stamps we can use to make male cards. So we're going to start today with some of the stamps which every male loves. Dragons and castles, cannot go wrong with that. So we're going to make a card, and we're going to use these beautiful Lavinia acrylic sprays. Of course, we know they come in 12 fantastic colours. The colours I've chosen to use today are along the bluey, the blue-green colour range, and I wanted to make a bit of a stormy background, that kind of look as a backdrop for our castle stamps and the dragons. So the colours I've chosen to use are the teal, periwinkle, midnight blue, which is a stunning deep sort of bluey purple colour, and we're also going to use a little bit of the white today as well. So I'll just pop those to the side for the moment. Those 4 bottles. So I'm not using the mica sprays today. I didn't want to bring the mica into it. Just wanted to stick with the matte acrylic sprays. I've already cut a piece of multifarious white card, and this is cut 5.5 inches square because I've decided to make a 6-inch square card. So that way I can make my card mat 5 3/4 inches square and then place it onto that 6-inch square card. So this is the Lavinia multifarious card, which just works absolutely beautifully with your stamping, blending, inking. It's fantastic. So the first thing we're going to do is spray this card. I'm just going to get my splatter box. I always use a splatter box with the sprays, and that way the spray will not go all over your table. It's confined to the box. So I'm just popping the card in there, which I think you can see. Yep. Now I'm going to start with the midnight blue, so the darkest colour, and I'm just going to do some spray across the top. Look how deep that colour is. You'll notice as these dry, they do go a little bit lighter. So I know it's really, really dark at the moment. I'm then going to bring in some periwinkle blue. This is how easy it is to create a background with these sprays. Look at that. There we got the gorgeous periwinkle blue. And then I'm going to have some hills at the bottom of my card, so I've decided to use some of the teal. Again, it's a green, but kind of a dark green, which I thought will mix in well with the stormy background. So from here, you can see it's already starting to dry. That didn't take long. But I'm going to get my heat tool, and I'm going to dry it in the splatter box. If you had a lot of ink, you could pat some of it away with a paper towel. It will not take long to dry. You see as it's drying how the colours are actually going that little bit lighter. But of course, we want to be able to see our gorgeous stamps on there. I'm just going to do the top bit here. That's still a little bit wet. How easy is that to make a background? We do sell the acrylic sprays at the shop, Paper Flourish, and also online, not only at the shop, but we sell them in the set of 12 colours or individually. And they are all stunning colours. Very, very easy to work with. That won't be long, and that'll be nice and dry. Now I'm going to put a moon on my card today. So at the moment, the top of the card is fairly dark. So I've decided to use some of the white acrylic spray just to add a bit of moon glow to where the moon is going to be. And we'll do that later on with the circle mask. I'm just going to dry the back there. Make sure it's nice and dry, which it is. So I'll bring that up so you can have a look. There we go. It's Still a little bit wet up the top. We'll fix that up in a sec. Okay, I'm going to get the white acrylic spray. Now, this is where the moon's going to go, up into the top right corner. So I'm just going to do a spray like that. And then we're going to dry that. So what it's going to do is it's going to add a nice glow behind our moon once we ink that onto the card. There we go. Makes the moon stand out that little bit more. You can see how that's just drying into it, that white. And there's the background. So quick and easy to make with these fantastic sprays. Let's have a close-up look there. A little bit wet there on the side. Oh, I think that should do it. There we go. How easy is that? It's got all lots of variations of colour. You've got that beautiful, beautiful area of white up the top as well. So there's our background to work on. Took no time at all to make. So I'm just going to straighten it out a bit. Now I'm going to use the castle. There are a couple of castle stamps that Lavinia make. The one I'm using today is this one. It has so much detail in it, the vines and everything coming off. It's a great castle and it's called Dragonstone Castle. So what I'm planning on doing is I want the castle to be probably over this area, the card, but I want it to sit on a hill. And I've chosen to use, I've got my Lavinia hill masks and I've chosen the second steepest. You can see that's got some nice jagged hills and things on there. When I make the hills, most of the time I have the hill upside down. When we do the inking. Let's have a look. And I think I might do the first one on a bit of an angle. So I'm going to set the castle down here. We want enough room to be able to stamp the castle on, but then the hill's going to go up this way. Now, what am I going to do the hill with? I think I'm going to bring in black soot. We want a nice dark hill. I have found said Lavinia now make the 3 sizes of stencil brushes. I found the middle size one, which is the size 7, is fantastic for blending your heels. So I'm going to put a bit of the black soot Distress Oxide, take a little bit off on the spare paper, and all I'm going to do is flick down along the edge of that heel. I might go over that a little bit more because I want it to be quite nice and dark. I want it to stand out. Flick the ink down. So you'll end up getting that dark line of the heel. Let's have a look. Yep, that's happened. All right, can we see that heel? See how that's formed on the card? Now, rather than just one, I think I might do a couple of different heels. So we might bring one in maybe over this direction here. Bring it down a little bit and we'll do the same thing. So let's pop that one on. Same thing, just flicking down along the edge there of that heel mask. There we go. And now we've got another heel in there. You can add as many heels as you want onto your card. We could add another one through here. We could come down here. And it gives you the look of things being in the distance as well once you add those heels into it. But I think we might leave it just with those two. Oh, pop that to the side. Now I was thinking we might have some stones on our heel. So I've got the Lavinia stencil, the stone stencil. We're going to bring back that heel mask we were using. Where are we? This way around, and pop it back in place because I don't want any stones to go higher than the heel. And then I'm going to place the stencil over the top. So the heel mask is underneath, stencil is there over the top. And we're going to stencil some stones. Might go with the smaller ones down here, I think. And for this, I think I might try Forest Moss. So Forest Moss Distress Oxide. We'll try that one. Now for this, I'm going to go with a bigger stencil brush, the largest size one. We'll get a little bit of ink on there, take a bit off here, and I'm just going to round and round and round and blend some stones into the heels. Thought it might add a little bit something different. So the castle will be sitting up on the stones. I haven't gone too heavy, just lightly. There we go, and it's given that little bit of interest to it, that little bit of a pattern there through the hills. Now I found this lower hill has disappeared a little bit, so I'm just going to pop that to the side, bring back that hill mask. Where have I put it? There it is. Pop it back in place on that lower hill. And let's just ink up the black soot again. And let's just do that a little bit darker. I just thought I might add a little bit of a pattern through the hills. And that's standing out a bit more again now. You see that there? You can see the pattern that's just come through the hills. And then you've got your two hills there. All right. So let's pop those ones to the side. All right. Now, before we start doing our stamping, I think we might do our moon. Now, I've got the Lavinia Acetate circle masks. I've chosen the middle size circle out of those, and I'm just going to place it up here in the top corner, so now you can see that white is behind it. To ink our moon into place, I think I might use Chip Sapphire. So the Chip Sapphire Distress Oxide. Now for the moon, I've found the best way to blend around a moon is the little stencil brush, the number 3 Lavinia. Now I'm just going to ink it up, same as I did with the hills. I'm just going to flick off all the way around that hill. All right, let's do that. We'll see how well this stands out. If it doesn't quite stand out enough, we can always go back over it with, say, the black soot. But we'll see if the blue works enough. Kind of looks like a really starry night on the card, doesn't it? Okay. But the little brush gives you so much control with your blending. Take that away and we've got our moon. And this almost looks now like it's got sort of clouds and things across it, doesn't it? With that white acrylic spray underneath. So I'm going to leave it just like that, I think. Now, because we've done a bit of ink blending on the card, I'm just going to give it a quick dry with the heat tool. So let's bring that in before we do our stamping. We've got a really interesting background happening here. Okay. Dry on the back as well. So now we've created our background, we are going to start to do our stamping. One last thing I want to do before we start stamping is I'm going to ink around the edges of the card with the Chip Sapphire. I'm doing it now because I want it to go, we're going to eventually do a stamp down here in the corner, and I want the card edge to be underneath that. So I'm going to go with the Chip Sapphire, again the Distress Oxide. This time I'm going to pick up, I might actually go with the middle size brush. I haven't tried this for the card edges, but let's give this one a go. So I'm taking a fair bit of ink off, just coming in off the side, catching the edge of the card as I go around, just to give that nice dark border onto your card. So it's already fairly dark, this one, but it just seems to finish it off, blending around those card edges. I always say in my craft class, there's no right or wrong. You just do it. You can make anything work with your cards. Just getting that little bit of dark. It's already fairly dark along the bottom here, but might just add a little bit of a blue edge to the card. Okay, and just up this side. You can go as dark as you want. The Chip Sapphire is such a handy colour. All right, so now we've just got that blue edge happening, and I'm happy with that, I think. There's our background. So now we start the stamping. Here comes the good bit. So we're going to start off, get our castle into position. Let's have a look. So this is Dragonstone Castle, and I think I'm going to sit right here. Sit it on that hill, and just in here. I think that'll look quite good there. So you could do this. You could stamp it on a stamp press. You could put the stamp onto an acrylic block, which is what I'm going to do. I love the Lavinia acrylic plates. I find them so easy to use. That one's not quite high enough for what I'm doing, so let's bring this one in. You get so much control with your stamping. Just pop the stamp on the back. It holds in place on the acrylic plate there. Because when we stamp, your Versafine Clair inks are your best stamping inks to use. And I've using the Nocturne, which is the black. So we're going to ink up the stamp. If you can see, have a look at the little fine detail on that stamp. And the great thing with these Lavinia stamps, you see every detail in your stamped image. I think that's got enough ink on it there. Okay, so I'm just going to press that into place, position it on the heel and stamp it down. Go, give it a good press so you can get the complete press of your stamp with these plates. And then we remove that, and there's our castle. Okay, so we've got our castle, and I like it in the black like that. It's a nice silhouette in the dark stormy night. So there's our Dragonstone castle. Now I've been trying to decide which other stamps I'm going to use. Got two options I'm deciding. I love the bat colony, all the little bats. Look at that, which would look great in the moon. Would look fantastic. Or I'm thinking of bringing in Mideela the dragon. I think Mideela's going to win. I think it'll look fantastic on that moon. So let's do that. And cannot go wrong with a dragon, especially for a male card. I'm just going to do the same. I'm going to ink up in the Nocturne Versafine Clair. Your pigment inks give you the best results with your Lavinia stamps. All right, and of course the Versafine Clairs come in a huge range of colours. Now let's position. I want Mideela to shine in the moon. I think that's how you pronounce Mideela's name. And just pressing down, hold it for a minute, let the ink go into your card. Wonder if I can get the bat colony on as well. What do you think? Might be too much. We'll see. Let's take that away. Have a look at that. So there's Mideela in the moon. All right. So we've got our castle. We've got our dragon. What more could we want? Will the bats work? I think they could be a little bit too much. No, I think I'm going to leave them off. So what we're going to do now, because what I really want to do with this card, we've got our dark background happening, we've got our stamps. I would like to bring in a little bit of shine to the card. So Lavinia makes this fantastic stamp called the Fairy Web. Let's put it back there. So I'm thinking of putting the web down here in the corner, and we're going to emboss it with silver embossing powder. I think that'll look fantastic on this card. Now we need to make sure this is really dry before we stamp that on there. So I'm just going to give it a nice dry again with the heat tool. If you wanted, like the dragon there, you can see a little bit of the white coming through. It kind of looks like the glow behind the dragon. If you wanted that to be a more solid dragon, I would have done it on a stamp press. And that way you've got that opportunity to stamp a couple of times to get that really strong dark image. But today I was using those stamping plates. Now, where are we? So I've got my Versamark embossing pad, stamp pad. We've got our Fairy Web stamp. Let's pop that onto an acrylic plate. Let's use this one. So this is a clear, wet embossing fluid. It stays wet long enough that you can then get your embossing powder to stick to where the stamp is. Now before, just to make sure again that there's nothing that's going to stick on here, I'm going to give this a bit of a, this is an anti-static pad. Anti-static pad, it's full like a fine flour. You come over here, some kind of powder anyway, inside it, and rub it over, and that's just going to make sure this is now the embossing powder is going to stick to your image. It's not going to stick to the rest of the card. We just want it to stick to where the stamp is going. So I've got my Versamark ink pad, the embossing ink pad, and I'm going to ink that up. It's quite a sticky ink. So it is clear, so when it's on there you won't be able to see exactly where you've stamped. Okay, so I'm going to put this right down into the bottom corner of the card. Pressing that down. As I said, this ink will stay wet long enough for us to get the embossing powder on. There we go. And we'll take that away. So as you can see, you cannot really see. I can see it here just in the shadow. You can see the ink, but it doesn't show up terribly well, but it's there. I've got a piece of scrap paper which I've folded, and that helps you get the excess powder back into the jar. And I've got my silver. This is, I've just picked up the Ranger silver embossing powder. Do that. I'm just going to sprinkle that over the top of where the fairy web is, shake it off, give it a bit of a flick, have a look at it, because at this point, if you've ended up getting a bit of powder over here and you don't want it there, you can brush it away with a soft brush. Okay, but that all looks okay. So now I'll just put that to the side for the moment. Pour this back into the jar. There we go. And pop the lid back on so I don't spill it. Now, let's bring back our card and have a look at the magic. So at the moment, you can see it's there, it's grey. You can see the image, but watch it come to life as we heat this. Takes a little bit to start, and then you'll see it suddenly go silver. Can you see that happening? I'll bring it up a bit closer. Look at the magic. Look at this. Embossing is great on a card to really highlight an area, highlight a stamp. It's so easy. See how it's turning? You can see the areas there that have already gone, have embossed, and the ones that we're still working on. Now we've got our silver spider web. Right. How good does that look? Look at that. So now we've got that little bit of shine to the card on there. I think I've missed a little bit just down here. Let me just quickly do that bit. That's better. But you can see because it just didn't look shiny. That's better. Now we've got our spider web happening. All right. Do you like the way the white acrylic spray worked really well there, didn't it, to give the moon glow? As well, we've got our castle, we've got our hill with our little bit of movement in it from that stone stencil, and our spider web. Now, you could add any sentiment you wanted to this, whether it's birthday. I know a lot of people tell us in the shop that they leave their sentiments off until it's time to actually use the card, which is sensible, and then you can add an appropriate sentiment. I like that idea as well. But I've decided, well, this is going to be a birthday card. However, part of the reason why we're doing a male Lavinia card series is that it's actually only a couple of weeks away till Father's Day. So it made me think, okay, we need to be making Father's Day cards, or I'm sure we've all got birthdays and things happening for males. And so we don't often always think about getting our Lavinia stamps happening for those, but they work so well, whether for male or female. Now I've chosen, I should probably show you what I've chosen, the Lavinia Heartfelt Verses stamp set. With love, just for you, birthday wishes with love and sympathy. So it's a bit of an all-round set, and I use these all the time. I've chosen birthday wishes as the one I'm going to do. I'm going to ink it up just in the black Again, let's stick with the black, the Nocturne. Give that an inking. And where are we going to pop this? I think I'm going to bring it just in here. Oh, it looks like Mideela's going to eat it. Maybe not there. Maybe we'll pop it up here near the top. Yeah, let's do that. And take that away, and we've got birthday wishes. It's not standing out. You could, if you wanted that to stand out more, which probably would have been a good idea. I mean, it's there, you can see it, but you could have actually done it in embossed it in the silver, and that would look really cool too, wouldn't it? That would work. So I think I'm almost done with this card. I don't like to add too much to overdo it. Now, a lot of the Lavinia cards, we put them onto a black mat. If you find that's too dark, try something like a mirror. Imagine a silver mirror card behind that, or something, or even pick up one of the colours, or could work on those. One last thing we could add, and we often do this, is with, well, we could add some Posca dots if we wanted to. I'm sort of going, maybe not. The white to me is working quite well up there. I think I'm going to leave it exactly as it is. So that's card number 1 in our Mail Card Lavinia series. Please keep watching, and I will have more cards following using the fantastic Lavinia stamps to make that series of mail cards. Have a fantastic day, everyone. Enjoy making your Lavinia cards, and I look forward to bring another card to you very soon. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.